Good morning, everyone. It's a NASCAR only week for the world of motorsport, as far as I cover it, at the very least. It's Darlington. Uh, going to be a rough week with a lot of damaged sheet metal, I believe. We got the trucks, the O'Reilly Series, and the Cup Series all making a stop. Uh, Truck series, I think the favorites are going to be pretty self-explanatory. We got Corey Heim back for Tricon, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell making their returns to the Truck series, and then we have AJ Allmendinger in the 10 truck for Colleague, taking over for the suspended Daniel Dye. AJ Allmendinger hasn't made a truck start since his Red Bull days, so it'll be interesting to see how he fares. And then the other favorite I got on the board is Lane Riggs. Lane Riggs has had a pretty up and down year so far, but he came out there at St. Pete and he was really strong. And I think he's probably still the favorite for this championship as things go. He's seems to be the most well-rounded driver in the series. Don't count out Christian Eckes. He's a former winner at Darlington in the trucks. Carson Hocevar. The Spire trucks haven't quite seem to have the pace needed to win on these kinds of tracks ever since their inception, really. I mean, Kyle Busch has done it, Raja Karuth has done it, but it's been kind of up and down for them. So I'm not sure if Hocevar is going to be able to wheel that thing to victory, but you can never really count him out. Butterbean Queen driving for Colleague as well. It'll be interesting to see how he does now that we're back to a track that's maybe a little more his style. Darlington is a lot more similar to what he's done than Atlanta, for example. The one truck is driven by William Sawalich, making his return to the Truck Series for Tricon. He is doing double duty, so I think the seat time is definitely going to help him. He can go out there and put in a really solid performance. And then in the 25 truck, it's Corey LaJoie. Corey LaJoie, I expect to have a good solid run in the Truck Series at Darlington here. He has a lot of experience at the track, and he's pretty good at not totaling the car, which is totaling the truck, which is really all you need to get a top 10 here, it seems like. So the big question here is how does Dodge fare in its first non-restrictor plate oval race in quite some time? They got a couple bullets in the chamber for victory here. I think AJ Allmendinger is a very real threat. If they can unload with a competitive setup, competitive engine package, I think they are absolutely in line to have a shot at victory. And Butterbean Queen, I expect him to have a really strong run too. Mini Tyrell, we haven't seen it from him yet. It might be a little too early in the season to be asking about that. Justin Haley, he's not on the board. I expect him to run pretty strong too. And then Corey LaJoie as well. So, they got enough competent drivers there with reasonable experience at Darlington. So if the package is good, they should be running pretty strong. And Allmendinger is going for the triple threat, so he's looking to become yet another driver to add his name to the list of drivers who have won in all three series. Obviously, he has a ton of O'Reilly Series wins, and he has a decent chunk of Cup wins now. But he never was able to win in his limited truck starts. So this might be his best chance to get that, and hopefully, even if he doesn't, we see Allmendinger do a couple more truck races this year. Maybe we see him at the road courses. That'd be pretty cool. And then the other question is, how long is Daniel Dye going to be suspended? And when he comes back, will it even be with Colleague? I don't know what goes through your head where you go and mock a reasonably successful IndyCar driver who drives for Roger Penske. Obviously Daniel Dye used the gay slur to refer to David Malukas, who is like, from what everything I've seen, is like one of the nicest guys in the world. So it's just like it was very tone deaf from Dye, and I found his apology to be really weak. And the money backing is only going to go so far if it ends up being a detriment to the businesses that support you. So I don't expect this to be the end of Daniel Dye in NASCAR, but it absolutely could be. You know, they're already pulling all his pre-orders on all his Kala gear, so that strikes me as a you might be done kind of thing. And he is indefinitely suspended, so we'll see how long that goes. And when that suspension's over, is he even going to come back to college? I'm starting to doubt it. On to the O'Reilly series. Kyle Larson is making his second start, looking to go back to back in the O'Reilly series. He is going to be joined by Christopher Bell, taking over the 19 from Chase Briscoe. Justin Allgaier and Jesse Love, I have as the two O'Reilly Series regulars that are the biggest threats for victory. And then the 9 cars, Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain, I think, is a step below Bell and Larson here. He really just hasn't had the pace in any of his Cup Series efforts for sure. But he's also been a step behind the other Cup drivers in his O'Reilly Series efforts outside of Atlanta, which is a bit of a mess as it is. I definitely think Kyle Larson and Bell are the favorites here. Larson, especially, is going to be hoping that he can translate this into Cup success because he has not won since last May in the Cup Series. Like, that's a very long drought for someone who is a champion, is expected to be a title contender. Christopher Bell, he's finally rounded into form after a really rough start to the year, first couple races. Now he's looking like he's the championship contender he should be. He's probably the best Toyota in the field without a victory so far. Between him, Reddick, and Denny, I'd say Bell is that next one in line logically to get his first win of the year. And then Chastain's probably just looking to see some sort of success at the national level at this point because he has not had a Cup season worth talking about so far. And then, yeah, Allgaier, he's a former winner here. Jesse Love runs really well at Darlington. He's shown to probably be Allgaier's main challenger for the number 1 seed so far. And he's the defending champion. And that'll be my prediction for the top 5 fighting for victory here. Don't count out, though, Brandon Jones. He won this race last year. And he always finds a way in these races. He's been very strong at Darlington, and he's really good at bringing the car home in one piece, so long as he's not driving for Junior Motorsports. 17 car Corey Day. We're definitely starting to go to some tracks where Corey Day is going to be able to lean on his strengths a little bit more. He's come out of every race so far this season with a top 10 pretty much, and now Darlington is going to be where he gets to learn from the master and Kyle Larson. I expect Corey Day to be running in the top 10 if he can keep it out of the fence. Sam Mayer's had a very up and down start to the year, but he's very strong at Darlington. You got to expect him to be running at the front. William Sawalich probably is going to have the most track time of any of these drivers going into the O'Reilly Series race. I expect him to pick up a lot of tips and tricks out of the Truck Series and have a nice, safe, strong run in the O'Reilly Series race. He needs to start putting in some good performances. You know, he's out of the chase right now. He is in a Joe Gibbs car. How much longer is Joe Gibbs going to wait for him to put in the performances that he needs? He has the talent. You know, he dominated in ARCA. He looked competitive in the trucks. He's had moments, flashes of brilliance in the O'Reilly Series, but at some point he's got to go out there and be contending for victories, and he hasn't been doing that too much yet. So no better place to start than Darlington, where, you know, it chews up young drivers and spits them out. Sawalich needs to start showing that he is not just another flash in the pan. And the final one here, I got Carson Kvapil. Probably should have gotten his first win at Phoenix. Wasn't meant to be. Probably one of the more consistent drivers in the series. He's definitely picked that up. I think he might be more consistent than his teammate Justin Allgaier. Him and Jesse Love, I think, are the two most consistent drivers we got currently. Still looking for his first win. Showed out really well at Phoenix. Popple has had some race winning speed this year, and eventually he's going to have to close it out, and it very well could be here at Darlington. Big questions here. Can Brandon Jones go back to back? That'd be pretty impressive. Brandon Jones usually just comes out of nowhere for these race wins, but he went out and earned it at Darlington last year. And can the three-headed Cup monster be beat? Can these O'Reilly Series regulars beat Larson, Bell, and Chastain? Well, there's no doubt that Bell and Larson are going to be the favorites, and Chastain's absolutely going to be competitive. Will it be an Allgaier or a Jesse Love, or maybe even a Corey Day going out there and showing them who's boss? I think if the wheels stay on the car, I think it's between Larson and Bell for victory. But I'd love to be proved wrong by some of the young kids here. And then on to the Cup Series. The favorites, Chase Briscoe. He's a bit of a Darlington merchant. When he needs to get it done at Darlington, he gets it done. He's shown out 3 separate times that he can do it. Christopher Bell, his teammate in the 20, looking for his first win. Denny Hamlin, by far the most prolific Darlington racer currently in the series. 5-car Kyle Larson, former winner at Darlington, really trying to get the monkey off his back. And the number 9 of Chase Elliott, always a strong runner, very consistent so far this year, looking for his first win of the year as well. Don't count out Brad Keselowski. He won this race 2 years ago. Eric Jones, always very strong at Darlington, and regardless of how much pace that car seems to have. Had a good run a couple weeks ago at the more recent ovals. The 8-car Kyle Busch, couple runner-up finishes here lately, always strong here. If he's going to get another victory with RCR, this would be the place I would expect for it to happen. Always runs strong here. It's very much a talent-driven track, and Kyle Busch still has that in spades. The 60-car Ryan Preece had a really good run here last year. At both races, he ran really strong, honestly. Still looking for his first career win. Very much plays into his strengths as a race car driver. Ford can unload with a strong package. They'll be a threat. And the 38 is Zane Smith. He's had some terrible luck this year. Honestly, he's been running like a guy who is a threat to make the chase. And he hasn't really been finishing outside the top 15 in races where he's made it to the finish. He's been taken out at Circuit of the Americas. He got taken out last week as well when he was running really strongly. Zane Smith is a wheelman, and he is a very strong driver. And front row has definitely shown that the 38 can be a top 10 running car. And Darlington, I don't expect to be no different. I expect him to be the leading front row motorsports car. Will he be contending for wins? I don't know, but he'll definitely be up there in the top 10 if Ford brings the package capable of doing so. And the biggest question for that is, can Briscoe put himself into contention again? He's had walk-off victories at Darlington several times, and he's not in a position where he can walk off with a victory, but he has a deep hole he needs to pull himself out of, and going out there and blitzing the field and dominating at Darlington would be a great way to go about it. And because of that, I predict that Chase Briscoe is going to win the Cup race. I think Christopher Bell is going to win the O'Reilly Series race, and I think Bell is going to go 2 for 3. I think he's going to win the truck race as well. Though I'd love to see Allmendinger pull it off. Tell me what you think, guys.